Sama Sambuddhasa. Dạ, cái gì được. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Bhajirasa.
So this discourse is the kind of discourse of vitakka, santhana, sutta. So when we study this vitakka, santhana, sutta, we will have to understand how to manage our thought in our daily life, especially how to manage our thought or our thinking in order to live happily and peacefully throughout our life. So it is better for us to study this discourse based on this outline. So the first one is the impact of our thoughts. So our thought has a negative impact and a positive impact. That is why we need to understand that point. And then another one is types of thinking or types of thought. And then how to remove the evil thoughts or how to manage our thought in order to live happily and peacefully throughout our life by applying the instructions given in this discourse. And then another one is the result of removing evil thoughts or what are the benefits of managing our thought in accordance with the instructions given by this discourse. And then what is the main idea of this discourse, and another one is what kind of lesson can we get by learning this discourse. So we will have to understand these points. So okay, let's go to the first one, the impact of our thoughts. So I mentioned, here some points related to the impact of our thoughts. So we can see here, one of the best lessons we can learn in life is, how to master how to remain calm or how to live in peace. So in order to live in peace, we need to understand if a person wants to live peacefully and happily, so we need to understand these two conditions. So what are outside our control and what are under our control. It means, so what kind of situations can we control and what kind of situation we cannot control. So without understanding these two conditions, so it will be difficult for us to live happily and peacefully. So that is why regarding the thinking, so we need to understand this point, out of control and under control. So actually these are general interpretations or explanations regarding out of control and under control. So here, the past. So especially the past karma, so we cannot manage. So we cannot control the past karma because all the past karma has gone or done. So that is why we cannot control. But we cannot control here another. We cannot control the past. We cannot control the present time. So we cannot control or we can manage our present time. So we can understand like that. And then our future. So we cannot control. So if we want to possess the future, good future life, so we need to manage beautifully and very well the present life. So another one is the result. So and then other people's opinions, and then this is the outer control. So another point is under controls. So these are general explanations related to outer control and under control in order to understand the impact of our thoughts. And then another point here, so I mentioned another point. So in order to understand the impact of thinking. So in this case, when we study thinking, so we need to understand the differences between thinking, emotion, and our mood. So that is why that we need to understand that point. So thinking and emotion here, based on these 2 points, I made the question related to these 2 So how are they related to each other? So thinking firstly arise in our mind or emotion firstly arise before the thinking. Which one is first and which one is second? So after the arising of emotion, thinking is arised. So it's like that or not? So here, so do you think that thinking is the cause of emotion, or thinking is the condition for the arising of emotion, or emotion is the condition for the arising of thinking? So these are also some questions related to these two words. So it is better for us to add another word, mood. Thinking, emotion, and mood. So if we want to understand so the nature of thinking, emotion, and mood, it is better for us some psychological books. So it will be better for us to understand the nature of thinking and emotion. And then here I mentioned some points. So which one is the cause? Thinking is the cause of emotion, or emotion is the cause of thinking? So and then another one is what do you think about that? So very interesting and very useful in order to understand not only ourselves but also the feeling of other people. So psychology is so remarkable or useful for us to understand human nature. Human nature. So and then another one. So in order to understand, so in order to give the answer to the other question, so syllogisms. So syllogism. So syllogism is one of the most effective ways of explanation. So syllogism is a kind of logic. So Triyoti Veda. So we can understand like that. So here I mentioned the definition of syllogism. So here a way of arguing. So in which two statements are used to prove that another statement is truth. So in order to say that that statement is truth, we need to base the first two statements. So here, so I mentioned the example here. So all human beings must die, must be dead. So we are human beings. That is why one day we were dying. Yeah? We were dying. Yeah? We were dying. So born is also a kind of dying. No? So all human beings must be dead. We are also human beings, therefore we will die one day according to this logic. Such a logic is called Triyoti Veda. Triyoti Veda. So in English, syllogism. So we can understand like that. So based on that logic, we can make the conclusion. So a mind, a feeling, and emotion, which one is the cause and which one is the effect? Here, so according to the psychological point of view, that we can understand. So the first one is a major premise. I can control my thoughts. I can control my thoughts. So my feeling or emotions come from. So our feelings or our emotion come from our thoughts. So therefore, I can control my feelings or my emotions by controlling our thoughts. This is the syllogism. That is why if we want to control our feelings or emotion, first of all, it is by controlling our thinking. We can easily control our feelings and emotions. So this is the one of the logic, syllogism. So regarding the thinking and emotion or mood. So based on this logic, we can understand our thinking. By controlling or managing our thinking very well, we can control our feeling, emotion, or our mood. That is also one point related to the syllogisms or a kind of psychological point of view. So we can understand like that. That is why we need to understand the nature of our thinking. So we can control our thinking or not, or thinking and emotion, which one is the cause and which one is effect. According to this method, so thinking, by controlling our thinking, we can easily control our feelings and emotions. So we can understand like that. So and then here, so in order to clearly understand how our thoughts and feelings or emotions are related to each other. So that is why it is better for us to read. So here, this book is also very interesting for us in order to understand the differences between the feeling, moods, and our emotions. Here, so only one pages. So in order to understand, so this logic, very interesting. This book is available on the internet for free, that we can download it easily. So this book is available on the internet for free, especially on the Telegram channel. So very interesting, Thinking for a Change, written by John C. Maxwell. So and then we need to understand this point, why thinking is vitally important in our daily life. So according to the human nature, most of the people are fighting with animate things and inanimate things. So most of the people are fighting with animate things, savinyanaga votu, and inanimate things, avinyanaga votu. For example, at some night we could not sleep very well because we are fighting with our thinking. Our thinking. Theodore, last night I could not sleep very well because I overthink about something or someone. Something or someone. That is why we need to understand the nature of our thinking. Our thinking here, thinking is of crucial importance in our daily lives. Therefore, we need to know the impact of our thought, or we need to think in our thought on our life regarding the impact of thought. So regarding the impact of thought, this statement given by this scholar is very interesting. So here, our thought is very powerful. So here, he said that, our Lord, Frank our Lord, he said that here, our thinking, we need to watch or we need to observe. So the first line, we need to watch or we need to observe our thinking, because our thinking can lead to our words. So we can understand like that. We need to observe or we need to watch our thinking, because our thinking can lead to our words. According to the teachings of the Buddha, Mano Pobingama Dhamma, Manosita Manomaya Manasa Padotena, Sibasatiwa. That is why that we need to watch or we need to observe our mind or our thinking, because our mind can lead to our words. And then we need to watch or observe our words, because they can lead to our action, step by step. And then we need to watch or we need to observe our action, because our action leads to habits, vasana. And then we need to watch or we need to observe our habits, because our habits can lead to jarita. And then we need to watch our corridor, because our corridor leads to our destiny or our life. So this is the impact of our thinking or our mind, according to his statement here. Frank Outlaw. So his statement is very interesting and useful for us in order to understand the impact of our thinking or our thought. So we can understand like that. That is why that we need to observe our thought, because of these conditions. Here, so this is the impact of our thinking. And then we can understand, so we need to understand some statements given by the scholar concerning our thinking here. So I mentioned some points given by some scholars regarding our thinking here. Everything begins with our thought. So the statement is also nearly the same as Manopobengama Dhamma. And then our life consists of what it meant is thinking all about all day, or the whole days. So here, immersion. So his statement is also very interesting in order to understand the nature of thinking or the impact of thinking. So another one. So what we think determines who we are. So what kind of life do we want to possess? It depends on our thinking, our attention, our emotion, our mood, or our thought. His statements, according to his statements here, what we think determines who we are. Who we are determines what we do. So according to his statements, And then the action of man are the best interpreters of our thoughts, John Locke. So there are a lot of quotes mentioned by the John Locke on the Facebook. So very interesting. So his statements or his quote is very short, but they are full of definitions, And then another one, so our thoughts determine our destiny or our life. We can understand like that. And then our destiny determines our legacy. In Pali, daya, da. Legacy means in this case, dayada. How many types of dayada? 2, no? So what kind of dayada do you want to live? So after our death, no? After death. So and then another one, so people who go to the top think differently than others. So if a person wants to go to the higher state, his thinking must be different from other people's. That is why, so our thinking or our thought is the creator of our life. So we can understand like that. People who go to the top think differently than others, from others. So we can understand like that. So these points are also mentioned in the same book, Thinking for a Change, written by John C. Maxwell. And then here, in other words, thinking is of vital importance because, so this one is another point. Yes, so our thinking is of crucial importance because, so our happiness depends on the qualities of our thoughts. This is also one point. Therefore, we need to differentiate between what should be thinking and what should be thought and what should not be thought. So in our daily lives, in other words, we need to comprehend or understand what to think and how to think. So this is also another point related to the impact of our thinking or our thought. After that, so after understanding or after knowing the impact of our thought, we need to understand types of thinking according to the teachings of the Buddha. So here I mentioned types of thinking. So according to Dvaita, Vitakka, Sutta, so we can understand there are 2 types of thinking. So maybe you have already known. So good thinking and bad thinking. So here we can classify our thinking into 2 types according to Dvaita, Vitakka, Sutta and Vitakka, Santhana, Sutta. So here, so good thinking or bad thinking. Regarding the bad thinking, we can understand. So bad thinking will mention or include 3 types. Here, Kama Vitakka, Vyabhada Vitakka, and Vihimsa Vitakka. We very often see these 3 types of Vitakka in our class throughout our academic journey in this university. Mostly we see these 3 types of thinking again and again. So Kama Vitakka, Vyabhada Vitakka, Vihimsa Vitakka. So mostly commonly we translate the Kama Vitakka means thinking about sensual pleasures. So sensual pleasure. So commonly we translate like that. Vyabhada Vitakka, so thinking about evil. So some people are thinking about how to get something from someone all day. Such a thinking is called Kama Vitakka. They never think about how to give something from him to someone. So they always thinking about how to get something from someone. Such a thinking is called Kama Vitakka. So and then another one, so some people are thinking about how to give the trouble, how to make other people shameful or how to make other people embarrassed. Such a thinking is called Vyabhada Vitakka. And then thinking about the cruelty. Some people are thinking about how to give the cruelty. Vihimsa. So mental suffering, how to give other people mental suffering. Such a thinking is called Vihimsa Vitakka. Vihimsa Vitakka. So we can understand like that. So this is these 3 thinkings are related to bad thoughts. And then, so according to, so these 3 thinkings are according to the Dvaita, Vitakka, Sutta. So here I mentioned another 3 types of Vitakka according to the Vitakka, Santhana, Sutta. So we can understand like that. Chanduba, Sanhita, Vitakka. So such a thinking is associated with the raga. So here greed. So and then another one is dosuba, sanhita, vitakka. So such a thinking is the thinking associated with the hatred. Another one is mohuba, sanhita, vitakka. So such a thinking is associated with the moha. So these three types of thinking are according to the vitakka, santhana, sutta. So please remember types of thinking. So these three types of thinking are mentioned in the vitakka sutta. So we can understand like that. Chanduba, dosuba, mohuba, sanhita, vitakka. So we can understand like that. And then, so these, after knowing three types of the bad thoughts, so we need to understand good thoughts. What are the good thoughts here? So what is the opposite of karma vitakka? So the opposite of karma vitakka is nekama vitakka. So some people are always thinking about how to give something to someone. Such a thinking is called nekama vitakka. Nekama vitakka. So and then another one, thought free from evil, vyabada, vitakka. Some people are always thinking about how to make other people happy or peaceful in their daily life. Such a thinking is called avyabada, vitakka. And then thought free from cruelty. So it means some people are always thinking about how to make other people safety or safe. So we can understand like that. Such a thinking is called avihensa vitakka. Avihensa vitakka. So avihensa vitakka, very interesting and very useful. Some political leader usually use this thinking, avihensa. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Who? Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah? Mahatma Gandhi. So he used the avihensa vada. Avihensa. Avihensa. And then in America, Martin Luther King. He used the avihensa, no violence. No violence. So we can understand like that. So without possessing the avihensa vitakka, so it will be difficult for us to establish a peaceful society. Peaceful society. That is why so avihensa vitakka is of crucial importance in order to establish a peaceful society or a peaceful organization. So these three kinds of thinkings are related to good thoughts. So according to the Dveda Vitakka Sutta, and then according to the Vitakka Santhana Sutta, we can understand another three types of good thinking. Here, thought associated with non-greed, and then a thought associated with no-hatred, and then the thought associated with no-delusion. So we can understand like that. So these three types of thinking are according to Vitakka Santhana Sutta. So in this case, we need to understand why. What is the reason? Why do we need to think good thinking and why we should not think bad thinking? So according to Vitakka Sutta, so we can understand if we think bad thought, that bad thought can lead to suffering not only for us but also for others. That is why that we should not think bad thought. This is the first one. So if we think a bad thought, so that bad thought can be obstacle or hindrance to our knowledge and to the attainment of knowledge and wisdom. That is why we should not think bad thoughts. Such is a reason. For this reason, and then the Buddha mentioned, so we should not think bad thought, because if we think bad thought, such a bad thought can be the obstacle to the realization of Nibbana. This is the last of reason. So according to the Dveda Vitakka Sutta. So after that, we need to understand why we need to think good thoughts in our daily life, because so our good thought can lead to the happiness not only for us but also for others. That is also one point, because our good thought can lead to the attainment of our knowledge and our wisdom. And the end, our good thoughts can lead to the realization of Nibbana. So that is the reason why we should not think bad thoughts and why we should think good thoughts according to the Dvita Vitakka Sutta. 3 reasons for each thinking. 3 reasons. So the first one is suffering. So bad thought leads to suffering, not only for us but also for others. So bad thought leads to be obstacle to the attainment of knowledge and wisdom in this very life. That is why, and then in the end, the last one is bad thought is obstacle to the realization of Nibbana. So according to the Dvita Vitakka Sutta, we can understand like that. Therefore, we should not think bad thoughts. So here regarding the good thoughts, we need to understand why we should good thoughts. According to Dvita Vitakka Sutta, we can say that so our good thought leads to happiness not only for us but also for others. And then our good thought leads to the attainment of our knowledge and wisdom. In the end, our good thought leads to the realization of Nibbana. So we have to remember these 3 reasons why we should think good thoughts and why we should not think bad thoughts according to Dvita Vitakka Sutta. So regarding the types of thinking and the reason why we should thought good thoughts or we should think bad thoughts, so we need to read these discourses when you get a free time. So here I mentioned 7 discourses, another 7 discourses, Vitakka Sutta, and then another Vitakka Sutta. So the last Vitakka Sutta is mentioned, Idiodaka Pali, and then Chainti Sutta, Raga Sutta, Sinya Sutta, and Dutta Sutta. So by now reading these discourses, we can understand other types of thinking and other reasons why we should not think bad thoughts and why we should think good thoughts. So we can understand those points. So we need to read. So after that, we need to, another topic, 5 ways of removing or controlling our evil thoughts in our daily life according to this discourse. So in order to live happily and peacefully, we need to know, whenever evil thoughts arise in our mind, we need to understand the way to remove our evil thoughts in our daily life. According to Vitakka Santhana Sutta, the Buddha mentioned 5 ways of removing evil thoughts in our mind when they arise in our mind. So the first one is to replace evil thoughts with good thoughts. So the first method is we can understand replacing method. So shortly we can understand. So when evil thoughts arise in our mind, we can use the first method. The first method is a replacing method. So we can replace evil and wholesome thought with the wholesome thoughts. Such a method is called replacing method. And then the second method is whenever evil thought arise in our mental process, we need to explore or examine the disadvantages of our evil thoughts. Such a method is called exploring method. And then another one, to forget or disregard evil thoughts whenever they arise in our mind. So this method is very interesting. Sometimes forgetting is very useful for us. Sometimes the habit of forgetting is very useful for us in order to live happily and peacefully. Sometimes remembrance is lead to a lot of happiness in our daily life. So this method is very strange and very interesting. In order to control and remove our evil thoughts, sometimes we need to cultivate the habit of forgetting. Forgetting. In this case, we need to understand which one should be forgotten and which one should not be forgotten. So we need to understand that point. So as long as we remember everything or everyone, so at the time that we can be sometimes we can be happy and we can be unhappy. That is why sometimes forgetting is very beneficial for us in order to live happily and peacefully. And then another one is to pay the attention or to look for the origins of our thoughts. That method is searching method. So such method we can understand. And then another one is the last one, to subdue or restrain and attack our bad thought with the good thoughts by biting our teeth with each other. So we have to remove our bad thoughts. So here, so please remember these 5 ways of removing our evil thoughts are the main idea of this discourse. So regarding the Vitakka Santhana Sutta, we have to remember only 2 points. Only 2 points. Types of thinking and then ways of removing evil thoughts. We have to remember only these 2 points. This is the main idea of this Vitakka Santhana Sutta. So regarding Vitakka Santhana Sutta, we need to remember only 2 points. Types of thinking, ways of removing our evil thoughts. So the first method. So here, so when you give the answer to some question in your real exam, so we have to base our answer must be based on these 5 methods. So that is one. Please emphasize or please remember these 5 methods. Okay, let's go to the first method, detailed explanations. Here, detailed explanation. So the first method is a replacing method. So here, whenever evil thoughts arise in our mind, so we can use this first method in order to reduce and remove our evil thoughts. So replacing thought connected with greed with thought connected with non-greed. So we cannot replace the lobha-based thinking with alobha-based thinking. So we can understand like that. So we cannot replace the lobha with alobha. So we can understand like that here. I mentioned here in order to understand. So this point regarding the first method. So with karma, vitakka. So here thought connected with greed. Whenever lobha arises in our mind, such a thinking arises in our mind. So we cannot replace like that. So thought associated with no greed. So most of the people are thinking about how to get something from someone. Sometimes we need to think about how to give something to someone in order to live happily and peacefully. So one of them famous Dhamma preachers, Sayadaw said that most of the monks, the hands of the most of the monks are to take something from someone, Rupa Khanda. They never thinking about how to give something to someone. Do you know him? Nyasajja. Nyasajja Sayadaw. Hola, Nyasajja Sayadaw. Nyasajja Mokta. So Sayadaw said that most of the hams or the most of the monks, they always. So he said that the most of the monks usually thinking about how to get something from someone. They rarely think about how to give something to someone. So Sayadaw said that we should not think like that. Sometimes we need to think about how to give something to someone, such as animate things or inanimate things, in order to live fearlessly and in order to die fearlessly. Ni lebe ye ni ya ti lebe ye ti ya takha li le pi bu sin saရတယ်မင်းတို့ကောင်တို့ယူဖို့တွေးမနေနဲ့ဆရာတော်ကြီး So he said that like that. That is why sometimes we can most of the people, sometimes that is the human nature. Sometimes most of the people are thinking about how to get something from someone. Sometimes most of the people, some people are thinking about how to give something to someone. So because we are Buddhojana, so we cannot free from these 2 types of thinking. Sometimes our thinking is associated with the lobha. Sometimes our thinking is associated with the alobha. That is why, so our thinking, our mind is always fighting with kusala citta and akusala citta. So whenever kusala citta arises many times in our mind, we can be called pandita or we can be called good person. So whenever akusala citta are arising in our mind, mostly we are better persons. According to psychology, so anyone is always a good person or better person according to psychology. Because sometimes, so better thinkings are arising in our mind, but sometimes good thinking are arising in our mind. So based on the frequency, frequency or the arising of our mind, we can make the conclusion: this person is good person, this person is better person. So in the field of Puthojana level, so we can understand like that. So another one is we can understand like that. Sometimes we are thinking about selfish thinking. So our thought is related to selfish thinking. Whenever selfish thinking arises in our mind, we must try to replace selfish thinking with unselfish thinking. Here I mentioned the table. Selfish thinking, we have to replace selfish thinking with unselfish thinking. So some people are so selfish. Have you ever seen such a person in your daily life? In your life, some people are so selfish. Yeah? Yeah. Many days. Oh. Okay, another one is self-centered thinking, and another one is self-empty thinking. So whenever these thinking arise in our mind, we have to replace those thinking with these good things. So here, so the left side is better thinking, the right side is good thinking. So we have to replace like that. And then some people are always taker. They never try to be giver. So some people are always taker. Who are they? Some people are always taker. They are always thinking about the act of taking. They never think about the act of giving. So that is why whenever we are taker, we must try to change that mindset into the mindset related to the giver. So taker and giver. So mostly we can divide the people into two types, taker and giver. So in which group we are included? Taker or giver? So we need to consider ourselves. So generally we can divide the people into two types, taker and giver. So in which group we are included? In taker group or in giver group? So we can understand like that. So whenever we are included in the taker group, we must change taker group into giver group. So this is according to the first method. Here we need to replace selfish thinking with unselfish thinking because of the following reason. In what kind of situation our selfish thinking leads to in different societies. So because of this reason, we must try to change selfish thinking into unselfish thinking. Here I mentioned some reasons. So I want to get 5 more minutes. No? So here, so selfish thinking, this is why we should change selfish thinking into unselfish thinking. So we can see here, selfish thinking leads to antisocial behavior or antisocial actions in different societies. Do you know antisocial behavior? So antisocial behavior means the behavior or action which is harmful, HARM, harmful not only for us but also for others. So such a behavior or action is called antisocial behavior or action. Most of the Myanmar people, So and then another one is, so selfish thinking leads to attachment to things too much. Attachment to things such as namely animate things or inanimate things too much in our daily life. And then selfish thinkers almost always prefer a perfect life to a happy life. So they always value their things. They never think about the value of a human being, such as morality, concentration, and wisdom. They always thinking about how to get something. So they never think about how to fulfill their mentality or their mental quality. And then another one, selfish thinking is like a dotty palm. Do you know dotty palm? like a fam, no? Dirty fams. And then, so if a person, and then, so if a person has selfish thinking mostly, he would almost always thinking about win-lose situation. He will be the creator of win-lose situation. Most of the Myanmar people said that, but do they? He almost always thinking only for the welfare of himself. He never think about for the welfare of others. That is why this is the danger of selfish thinking. That is why we need to change selfish thinking into unselfish thinking. Whenever selfish thinking are arising in our mind, we must try to change like that in order to establish peaceful society. So, and then another one is here. So selfish thinkers are the destroyers of the beauty of our human world. So that is why we must try to change selfish thinking into unselfish thinking. And then we can add selfish thinking leads to disunity in our class. Disunity or diversity. And selfish thinking leads to unity in our class. We can understand like that. That is why whenever selfish thinking arises in our mind, we must try to change selfish thinking into unselfish thinking. And then, so what kind of situation and selfish thinking leads to in different societies? So we can understand like that. And selfish thinking leads to pro-social behavior or actions in different society. In this case, so the pro is the opposite or anti. So pro-social behavior means the behavior or action which is helpful or beneficial not only to us but also for others. Such a behavior or activity is called pro-social behavior. And then unselfish thinking leads to detachment from something to someone, or it decreases the attachment to something or someone. And then unselfish thinker rarely want a perfect life, so they almost always want to possess a happy life. And then unselfish thinking like a umbrella. So like an umbrella, and then if a person has unselfish thinking, mostly he would almost always think about a win-win situation. So most of the Myanmar people, they usually they are the creator of a win-win situation, or they are the creator of win-win relationship. Win-win relationship. So we can understand like that. If we are unselfish or if we are unselfish thinker, we can be called the creator of win-win situation. So we can understand like that. And then he almost always thinking things about for the welfare of himself, but also for the welfare of others. Atahita, parahita, patipanna, pogala. So we can understand like that. Here, unselfish thinkers are the creators of the beauty of the human world. So we can understand like that. So here, selfish thinking. Here, another one here, I mentioned how to remove the selfish thinking and how to cultivate the selfish and selfish thinking according to the commentary of this discourse. Okay, see you. Next week, we will continue to discuss the remaining points. Next week. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Đấy này con này. Đi vào. Thu dầm rồi.